Is the way the boss is going initially until he's had a look at the cloud base. And the boss this year is Red 1, Squadron Leader Ben Murphy, who's in the aircraft at the very front. Ben, or Baz as we know him on the team, is in his 5th consecutive year with the team. The only man to have done that since Ray Hanna was on the team in the mid-60s, 1965, and he stayed on the team for 5 years as well. Ben's a former Harrier GR7 pilot with the Royal Air Force, recently retired out of service, that aircraft. And like all of the Royal Air Force's current Harrier pilots, he's seen several operational tours in Afghanistan, where we provide close air support to the young men and women of our own armed forces, but also those of our coalition allies there. So Ben makes his second pass of the first half of the display in our famous Diamond 9 formation. And Ben's not only an experienced display pilot, an experienced operational Harrier pilot, but he's also a keen runner and kite surfer. And during our spring training in Cyprus, he's able to do quite a bit of kite surfing training at RAF Akrotiri while we're out there. And he thinks he's getting quite good. Okay, he's called the team now into Big Vixen formation out on the right-hand side. This is a large, wide formation. And as such then, it's quite difficult for the pilots on the outside of the formation to fly their positions. On the left wingtip, the highest aircraft as we see them now, that's Red 9, Flight Lieutenant Zane Sennett. Zane's one of the third-year pilots on the team and therefore one of the more experienced pilots, and another one of the team's Harrier pilots. So that's the command from Red 1 to start the Big Vixen roll. So Zane on the left wingtip there is not only rolling with Red 1 to match his angle of bank, but he's making large power changes, quite a lot of pitch change, and using lots of rudder, right rudder, towards the leader to maintain his formation position.
Beautiful.
Zane was born in Hong Kong, the son of a Cathay Pacific pilot. In fact, his father served in the Royal Air Force flying Harriers, just like he did. Zane's had 4 operational tours with 1 squadron, a former Harrier squadron with the Royal Air Force, out in Afghanistan. Zane actually is the man who puts the spear through our heart in the second half of the show, if the weather permits. And as one of the single members of the team, we're concerned that he's really starting to believe that he is indeed Cupid.
What's that?
Okay, Red 1's calling the team now into Swan formation, another one of the large and wide formations. It's generally considered in the close formation world that the further you are from the leader, the more difficult it is to accurately maintain your position. So we put the more experienced pilots furthest away from the leader. Just to the right of the neck of our Swan formation, just left of that neck as they pull up now in this Swan to Typhoon loop, is Red 2. This year is Flight Lieutenant Chris Lyndon Smith, one of the 3 first-year pilots on the team this year, and known to us on the team as Smythe. Smythe is just changing to be the front right wingtip of our Typhoon formation. Typhoon so called, obviously, because of the Eurofighter Typhoon, the immediate future of the Royal Air Force's combat air, and a formidable fighter aircraft it is too. Smythe's watched today by his parents who are here in the crowd somewhere. Hello to you. But more importantly, happy anniversary to you for tomorrow, the 4th of July. That's Independence Day. Doesn't mean you can be independent, you have to do things together. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the Typhoon Quarter Clover. Now, Smythe, interestingly, was born in Kitwe, Zambia, but he grew up in Cape Town and Johannesburg for the first 10 years of his life before coming back to the UK. He eventually graduated from college in Norfolk and joined the Royal Air Force to be a Tornado pilot, serving with 13 Squadron at RAF Marham, and he's seen operational service over Iraq. He's also a good kite surfer. In fact, he's a Level 2 British Kite Surfing Association instructor, but most worryingly, he reckons he's better than Red 1 on the kite surf, which I reckon is pretty damaging for his career. Good luck, Smythe. Okay, the team are now changing to Apollo formation. You can see Reds 4 and 5 with their smoke on sliding to the back of this formation. Apollo is named so after the Apollo landing craft, the Eagle landing craft of the Apollo 11 lunar landing missions of 1969. Shape looks like that aircraft side on. Now, generally in close formation flying, the pilots look at the leader and react to his or her movements. We don't do it like that in the Red Arrow. Activate it all on voice command. College London with a degree in aeronautical engineering. She joined the Royal Air Force and went on to be a flying instructor on the Hawker RAF Valley. Later on, she served operationally with 13 Squadron out of RAF Marham. Her operational service was conducted over Iraq, providing support to the predominantly US and UK troops on the ground there. Not only a skilled pilot, Kirsty's also a keen sportswoman. She can be found kayaking, rock climbing, and she does an awful lot of mountain biking. And we're hoping that this summer she's going to take the stabilizers off her bike finally. Okay, this is flanker formation, named after the Su-27 flanker, the formidable Russian fighter aircraft. So they go to a 3G left-hand bend, and if you look at the right wingtip, the highest aircraft of our flanker, you can see Red 4, Flight Lieutenant John Egging, the second of the three first-year pilots on the team this year. Eggman, as he is known, joins the team from the Harrier Force, again, just recently retired, of course, and he served on Happy 4 Squadron, again, out in Afghanistan is where he saw operational service. Eggman's a keen runner, and keen cyclist as well. And you've heard a little bit about the cycle challenge that the Red Arrows and the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight will be undertaking later this year. And Eggman does a lot of running with his wife, Emma, but we're pretty sure she's a faster runner than he is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Eagle formation. Now as the pilots position out on the right-hand side for the next manoeuvre, which is called the Whirlwind, I'm just going to take a chance to say hello to Conrad Dales, who's in the audience somewhere. He's watched by his brother, their sons, and Nathan Dales is with you. Hello to you, Conrad. Hope you're having a good day. Now let's talk about the next manoeuvre, a relatively new one for the Red Arrows. It's called the Whirlwind. And as you can imagine, the Red Arrows are a fairly well photographed unit, particularly, of course, in the aviation photography world. There's a very good aviation photographer, well renowned throughout that area of photography, called E.J. van Koningsveld, and he's been flying with the Red Arrows for 20 years, photographing us, and he produces the most wonderful pictures. In his 20 years, I consider that he's become an expert on what looks good in a Red Arrows formation, and he tells me he thinks that this next manoeuvre, the Whirlwind, looks great. The Red Arrows have never flown it this way before. You can be the judge today, though, but the team are now widening out into a wide diamond form as they run in for this manoeuvre called the Whirlwind. Let's have a listen to them on the radio. Well, I think it's a great manoeuvre. The pilots simultaneously spot roll to the left, and for about a second and a half, they all lose sight of each other. That, of course, requires complete trust between all of the 9 pilots. As they pull up on the left-hand side there, we're back into our characteristic and most famous formation, Diamond 9. It's what you find on our squadron crest. Beautiful. This is called the Diamond Chicane, and it gives us a chance to talk about the pilot sitting just to the left and slightly above the leader, Red 1. Class. Sitting in that position is Red 3, Flight Lieutenant Sean Cunningham. Sean's watched today by his parents and sister, Vicky, Monica and James. Hello to you. Sean's the third of the 3 first-year pilots on the team this year. Sean was born in South Africa. He didn't bump into Smythe as far as we're aware. But when he did come back to the UK, he went eventually to the University of Nottingham-Trent, where he studied electrical and electronic engineering. And by his own admission, he says he's a bit of a geek. Sean's an experienced Tornado GR4 pilot.